I begin by running this 1x6 cedar decking board through my thickness planer and then jointing the edges using my table saw. This one piece of 8-foot decking is all the material needed for this project. Alright, so now that I've got my piece of cedar all milled up, the corners cut off, I went ahead and made a prototype here. Now, I made this using only the miter saw, and this is all based on Matthias Wandels' spreadsheet that he has for free on his website, woodgears.ca. And this lists out how many segments you want, what angle you want the side to be on. So for this one, I had a 45-degree angle splayed out like that, and with 12 segments. And that gave me, I believe, 10.5 on the miter and 10.5 on the tilt or something like that. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and set my miter saw for the 50-degree splayed out angle. So making this bolt a little bit taller. So as you see here, this is my prototype and it's pretty close. I can almost force that in. Now, I'm going to get a little error because I am using a miter saw. It's not super precise, but I think what I'm going to do is what Matthias did in his video as well, and I'm going to make half at a time, sand the edges flat so they're totally coplanar, and then glue them back together. The difference being between mine and his, I'm going to go ahead and try this taping technique when I go to glue it up. He kind of clamped pieces together and then found the center of the clamping pressure and did that, and it's very smart engineered solution, which he's famous for, but I'm going to try the lazy way with some tape and see if I can simplify this just a bit. That being said, let's go ahead, set up the miter saw, and start cutting. Okay, so I've got my miter and my bevel set. So the last thing to do before cutting out all 12 of these pieces is to set a stop block. So I'm going to go ahead and set this at 3.5 inches. I then decided to use the end of the offcut piece for my stop block as it makes for a better end stop for the compound miter cut to rest against. As I went along, I made sure to remove any sections with knots. With all 12 pieces cut out, I begin laying the two pieces edge to edge and join them with thick masking tape. This masking tape is way stronger than the green painter's tape, but is nowhere near as user friendly. I mark the middle location once all the pieces are taped together. This mark's important as I don't want to get glue inside of that middle mark or the open end, as this will leave me with two halves that I can pull apart easily after the glue up is complete. So it's all glued up, looks pretty good. No glue here, no glue here. I'm gonna go ahead, take this tape off. Okay, that's all the tape off. Unfortunately, my miters were ever so slightly off, and that compounding over time leaves us with this. So now I'm gonna take both halves, set them like this on my belt sander and try to get these edges parallel with each other so we can glue this up and complete the bowl shape. With the bowl being set to dry overnight, I can begin working on the bottom of the bowl. I start by resawing the decking board with my bandsaw, and then planing everything flat. The pieces are then cut to rough length at the miter saw and rough width at the table saw. So I've just finished milling up these about 1/4 inch thick pieces, and what I'm going to do now is create kind of a faux plywood bottom. I'm going to glue this piece on the bottom with the grain facing this direction, and then this piece on top with the grain running this direction. This is going to really restrict wood movement, as we don't want this to move at all, otherwise it's probably going to crack our glue joints on the bowl itself. So let's go ahead and get this glued up. So now that our bottom piece is milled up nice and flat, it's looking pretty good. I now have the bowl set up over here at my homemade CNC, and I've just mounted the bowl upside down with these 2 little pieces of wood, and they're kind of acting as like spring clamps to make sure this doesn't move around at all. Because what I've got here is a surfacing bit set up in my router, and I'm just going to freehand, just manually control it. I didn't write a program for this or anything. I'm just going to go back and forth with the arrow keys, try to flatten this off so that we get a good glue surface to glue on the bottom. Now, if you don't have a CNC, you could easily set up some kind of like router sled jig, or if you're really nuts enough, you could just lay down a piece of sandpaper on a flat surface and just go back and forth for about 1.5 hours until this gets totally flat. But I have the CNC. Let's go ahead and try it out, see how it works. So the next step is going to be to add some glue to the bottom here and set it into my triple screw gear vise to set overnight. If you don't have one of these, shame on you. You really should, because it's great. But if not, just turn it upside down, put a brick on it, let it sit overnight, should be fine. And we'll just let that sit overnight. Okay, so the next step before mounting this to the lathe is probably optional, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. So I have my depth stop set back here to just cut through this layer of the bottom piece. And I want to just trim off these corners, kind of square up these ends, just to remove as much material as possible before sticking it on the lathe. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Hopefully it works and wasn't a total waste of time. So you see I have my faceplate here with a piece of scrap 3/4 inch plywood attached to it. This has been sanded smooth and turned flat. So next thing to do is to hot glue it onto here, as I don't have a 4-jaw chuck and I'm not planning on really becoming a bowl turner. So this is the method I'm going to go with for now without any sort of investment into the craft. So to get this centered, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is get it pretty close by eyeball. Then I'm going to put this piece of wood on both sides as a little spacer, and I'm going to hold up this piece of wood, press it against my ring here, and then I'm going to hold this down, transfer it to this side, and check myself. So I'm within a 1/16 of an inch, so I'll move this halfway between that, move my spacer there, and then bring this back over here. And that's pretty close, maybe a 1/64 of an inch. So that's good enough. I'll come over this side and do the same thing. So push that right over here, down, check over here. Okay, looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and mark this with the pencil. And this is our spot right there. So now I can go ahead, slather this in hot glue, and then attach this exactly in the right spot in the center. Now, if you're questioning also how strong hot glue is with a wood-to-wood bond, and the answer is insanely strong. I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, but it is ridiculous trying to separate two pieces of wood held together with hot glue. Just trust me, this will hold. And now time to chuck it up on the lathe. All right, so I'm just going to attach this onto the spindle. Ah, crap, it's too big. Just kidding. I knew that was going to happen. I just wanted to show you guys the fact that with this lathe, which is just the cheap Harbor Freight brand, they make these, all different brands have this exact lathe. You can loosen this guy right here, pull a pin, and you can swivel the whole headstock and then tighten it back down. And then your tool rest can come off from there and then rest over here. So when your bowl is mounted here, you can readjust the tool rest and you can do basically as large a circle as you want, or as large a bowl as you need. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this mounted, get this set up, and we'll start turning.
That's how we do it.